tonight we have with us the founder of JOGO Football, David Dwinger. How are things over in the Netherlands, David?
It's been good things, even though it's actually raining now. Whilst it's still summer, that's a bit of a shame, but for the rest, all is good.
All right, and also with us is my colleague Brian Yalong. Brian, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Vince. Good evening, David. Good evening to everybody who's watching us right now.
Good evening, all.
Okay, David, for our viewers who don't whose awareness is different on the JOGO Football app, can you tell us a little bit about JOGO Football development app?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very young app to start off with. As a company, we've only started 15 months ago. So actually in the start of COVID as well, end of April 2020. The reason for building the application is that we want to understand how youth develops, and specifically initially coming from a football perspective, right? So we are as a company focused on football and youth development. What I saw in that industry was that there's actually not a lot of knowledge on how we're doing, how we're progressing, right? We can see from visual inspection if somebody can play football. But what's very difficult to see if the level somebody is especially youth, where they can get to. So that's what we set out to do. Reason for this is my background in technology. Been working for large companies and enterprises for the last decade and a half. I come from a sports family, and I've got two very active young kids, two boys, 10 and 13, where the youngest is a judo player and the older one is a football player. And he is a youth pro in the Netherlands. So with him going through that phase of amateur, semi-pro, pro, and everything related to that, actually got me thinking about, hey, what do we actually know about youth and their development? So that triggered me thinking about building technology to capture that in a objective and relevant way. Took me about 2 years to think about what I wanted to do, and then, like I said, end of April 2020, we actually started building with initially a very small team, 3-4 guys in a small office. We're currently up to 55 people. So yeah, it's growing really fast from a team perspective, but also from a company perspective. We've got a lot of players already, a lot of clubs who are already working with us. So it's been great.
So your target market is mostly the youth. Are there any plans down the road of producing an app or upgrading the app for players who are playing at a higher level?
Absolutely, and it's already possible to do that today. I think so. We are not necessarily restricted in youth. It's just that's from a marketing perspective, that's where our focus is, because this is also where there's not a lot of information available, right? So on the higher end, so when players get older or even more towards maybe pro, there is a lot of, or at least more understanding of how they perform. In youth, there's nothing, but the technologies we've made from an application perspective, from a computer vision perspective, and from the hardware perspective as well, they can just as easily be used by Cristiano Ronaldo. Doesn't matter.
I'm sure you've received inquiries from clubs and the pros, right?
Absolutely. We currently, I think we have about 120, 130 clubs using us already. So yeah, like I said, very relevant in regardless of the level.
All right. Thank you, David. Brian?
Yeah, actually, I'm very curious about this app, David. I've been seeing a lot of apps ever since the pandemic.
Mm.
Maybe could you give us well, maybe point out what makes it different from the other apps that we've seen? I've seen a lot since last year. When I went
Yeah,
through the app itself, it seems like the same. So what makes it stand out?
yeah. I think the well, first of all, let me target it. It's I think it's a good thing that there's more and more technology coming in to ensure that, especially maybe by COVID driven, that people keep exercising and keep moving. Our application is not driven by that. It's just started in that same period. I think the biggest um, difference between us and the other applications is that the other applications tend to send out either requests or assignments or videos or instructions. We do the same. However, we are able to capture data coming from a video. So if you would do an assignment in our application, let's say, I don't know, jump squats, for
Mhm.
example, right? We could actually, just by using your phone, measure how many times you've done a jump squat, the level, the healthy range of motion, the quality, everything. And this is a feedback mechanism which not only gives you feedback on how you're performing, but also how you're growing. And we are 100% unique in that.
So is this limited to, I mean, soccer players, football players, or because I'm sure that with the exercise or activities you can do, it can be applied by other athletes.
Absolutely. As a company, I said we're very much focused on football.
Mhm.
We've got a lot of people here, either ex-pro players or actually still playing or anything. So we're all about football. But you're completely right, Brian. It's actually from a more abstract level. It's exercises, and it could be done in any sport, right? So we are actually in conversations with sorry, PLDT,
Oh,
um, in Philippines, of course, to collaborate um, on getting the youth to in Philippines to move, right? So this is not football related. Football is not your national sport. I think it's basketball, right? It's
yeah,
your main sport.
yeah.
Boxing, obviously.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Football is coming up, I understand, but volleyball is a big one for you. And exercising is relevant for everybody, right? Youth, adolescents, seniors, everybody. And so together with them, um, we're launching a program hopefully very soon, where we can get everybody to exercise regardless of the sport they do. If they do any sport at all, it could be just as home as well.
Because I have noticed a lot of people who have transitioned into this. I mean, practically all sports. So, well, my next question there, David, is was there the number of users who used your app? Did it spike when the pandemic hit?
Well, not really, because we only launched 3 months ago.
Okay.
So we've built the company in the last 10 months, 10, 12
Mhm.
months. And we only launched the first release 3 months ago. So very much in a beta version.
Okay.
So just now in the last couple of days, weeks, we are starting to go out more and communicating more that we are there. So we do see the spike coming up,
Mhm.
absolutely, from across the world. That's also really cool. It's not just limited to the Netherlands or Europe; it's everywhere. Um, but then again, yeah, the cool thing obviously is with collaborations like I just mentioned, that it could really go like this, right? So, which is an awesome thing, just to get
Yeah.
people off their chairs and move again.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Thank you, David. Vince, back to you.
David, going back to what Brian said about the proliferation of exercise apps. So you're also looking at football intensive workouts to be incorporated into the app, or is it already in the app?
Yeah, it's the application already covers the workout, and the exercises related to football or to physique or to stamina. We actually have some cognitive tests in there as well, combined with movement, which I think is really cool. For example, we do an assignment where, I don't know, somebody needs to dribble with the ball between their feet. And whilst they're doing that, they get asked questions on the screen. And they need to answer the question by either their hands in the air or by dribbling towards the right answer with the ball. So there's that part is already alive and in the platform and yeah, being developed with more exercises every week. In addition to that, we are not just getting people to move, but we can actually extract data from that, as I mentioned, on improvement, right? So it's a combination of performance and movement and fun. What we have been building for the last 6 months are these parts. These are 2 insoles which go into the football shoe, which actually have a sensor, as you can see here in them. And this actually goes really in depth into the performance side of things, right? So here we are able to capture everything related to speed and distance and acceleration and deceleration, but also how many times you touch the ball, your shot power, your leg distribution, everything related to that. Very much in this case football focused, but could very easily be amended to other sports. And we measure that through our sensor 1,000 times a second, which is extremely high. Again, enabling us to basically see how somebody's actually doing and how they're performing and how they're getting better or faster. So it's back to what Brian said, it's that feedback mechanism, right? Not just getting an assignment, not just having a trainer telling you what to do, but to actually have feedback on, hey, you've done better today, or you're slowing down, or you're going up, whatever it is. But at least it's a communication.
And what were the challenges that before you from the beginning of the product life cycle, from conception all the way to the finished product?
Well, one thing really comes to mind at the very beginning. So a little bit of feedback before I answer that question. So we have a platform with mobile app, which is regular software development, right? That's fine. Then we have the computer vision, artificial intelligence models, which is a separate piece of technology. And then we have the hardware, which is another different piece of technology. Building hardware in itself, if you have got the right people and the right machine learning experts to do this, it's very doable. Takes a lot of time and effort. Doable. Software development for us is not a big issue. We have got a big development background, so that's fine as well. Computer vision, artificial intelligence is a different puppy. So one of the things I remember from going back to your question is that in the very beginning, when we started building the computer vision models, it's basically around training the computer to recognize something, right? So the initial challenge was to recognize a ball, right? How can we recognize a football from video? And not just any video, but live on the mobile phone. So 2 or 3 months in, Vince, the AI developers here were having a heated discussion. So I walked up to them and said, what's going on? And they said, well, the system is for 60% sure that what he's looking at is an apple. So I started laughing. So it's okay, what is the other 40%? They said a bird. So okay, well, this is a problem because we're looking for a ball, right? So this was actually one of the moments where, okay, this is seriously difficult to build, right? So, and not just a still image recognition, but moving in different environments, different ball sizes, different colors, different lighting coming in, very challenging. But that's one thing we keep coming back to, that recognizing a difference between a ball, an apple, and a bird is quite difficult to build. We've covered it. We're very capable of doing that now, but that was I think one of the biggest challenges to come over or to solve. The issue we face is that we keep looking for the difficult things because I think that is in the end is where the value is, right? I don't want to just send out assignments again. Going back to Brian's point, I want to be able to provide feedback, and that's difficult because the feedback needs to be relevant and it needs to be objective. Because I think this is where the issue is in sports as a whole. It's still somebody's opinion who gives you feedback on how you're doing, right? It's subjective. Football, especially, is very subjective. I want to do objective and relevant data. So we have a big opinion on football, but that's not visible in the platform. everything which is in the platform is based on sports science, on data science, on technology, on computer vision, on objective and relevant data. And this is, I think, what the real value brings, but also where it's difficult, but fun.
All right, David, if you'll excuse me, Brian, did I send you the? I'm sorry, was I able to send you the YouTube video on JOGO? Did I? Okay. If I'm able to send it to you, would it be possible to play it?
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Sige. Yeah. Okay. Sige. Send it to me.
Okay. As you noticed, David, we're very informal.
No worries. No worries.
We're very spontaneous here. So
Yeah.
just a moment. I'll just send Brian the video that Laura sent me. Okay, where are you?
Okay, I'm gonna ask David while you're looking for it. David, is this? Am I reading this right? When I saw in the Google App Store, it's free.
Yes, it is free.
So are there any provisions to most of the apps, if you pay additional, you get additional like this, like that. You don't have any plans for that.
No, we have the app from a player's perspective or user perspective. It's completely free. Obviously, if you want to use if you want to know more, then you buy these. Of course, that costs money. If from a club's perspective, so the B2B side, right? When a club uses it to train their kids, that's a paid model, but there's also a big freemium model there. So any football club in the world can use our platform for free to start off with. That's not a problem at all. If you want more functionality, if you want the hardware, then obviously you need to pay for it. But the basics, the communication, giving out assignments, using the AI, using the computer vision, it's all for free.
Okay, I was curious about that. Well, anyway, okay, let me check on the video.
Yeah.
This is already with me. Okay, so let me share the screen.
This is, for our viewers, this is the latest campaign of JOGO Football.
Oh, it needs a sound, I think.
Okay, so this is the chip,
Yeah.
200 data points.
It's in the show, yeah. The cool thing is that it's because it's in the shoe, there's no limitations, right? You can use it through training, you can just use it during matches, anywhere. So it's not a external wearable like you see sometimes where they have these GPS things on or vests or anything. This is just in the shoe. You put it in once and that's it.
Well, our apologies, David. We a bit of a difficulty with the sound.
No problem. No problem.
There wasn't any sound. There wasn't any sound bits.
Yeah, there was no sound.
Oh. Okay.
I think it's visible on our website as well.
Okay. Do you want me to play it again? No. Is it okay?
Hey, you can play it again if there's sound.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's my bad. I didn't check the.
No worries. No worries. You know, David, Brian here is known as the Godfather.
Oh, come on, Vince. Don't
Love soccer.
Don't add David.
The passion, emotion, and excitement that comes with it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Loud and
Data
clear.
and technology are taking over the world, but in soccer they're barely used, especially in youth development.
We believe that everyone should be able to reach their full potential. So, We created the most advanced sensors that will revolutionize talent development in soccer. JOGO sensors make it possible to precisely measure over 200 data points at 1,000 times per second. JOGO sensors are created for the most intense situations. They're fully waterproof and placed at a spot where they don't break. Players place the sensors in their shoes only once and won't even notice that they're there. These high-quality sensors can track data on groundbreaking levels. They can track speed, acceleration, deceleration, leg distribution, ball possession, shot power, and much more. Our goal is to give youth players the opportunity to reach pro level in soccer. JOGO. Track, analyze, improve.
Nice.
Okay, so how much that okay, David, how much does that soul or that tracker cost?
The full set
Yeah.
is $100 or €100, $100. Yeah. So what we try to achieve is to make them as affordable as possible, which is on average about half of what our competitors cost, right? So I think we would have one or two competitors who actually does something similar, although they're external wearables. Because we're a software company, right? So this is the only reason why we've built this is because we want the data, right? So we don't have to make money on this per se. So we make this as affordable as possible to allow to as many kids and users in the world to use it, so we can help them with pushing back that data, right? This is also the reason why we make the app for free. My romantic vision is to get as many players to move or many kids to move in the world as possible. So if we can do that with building a healthy company, that's cool, but it's not the main drive.
Vince?
I noticed, David, a lot of numbers, a lot of statistics. And can teams use the data here to monitor their players? Because I saw shot power, I saw things like shot power, shots on goal, and I'm not, casting aspersions on your product, but you can slip the chip into your opponent's shoe, and then they'll play. And then you find out,
possibly,
shot power of the opponent's best player, or how many shots on goal, and things like that. But anyway, joking aside, but yeah, teams can also, this can be very, very useful to teams at all levels in terms of data and analytics.
Absolutely. It's for the individual very interesting to have, but also from a coaching perspective to the teams and the individual players, right? So imagine having a coach who I don't know, trains the under 14 team of the local club, and he has the data from every time their player works on their sport. So that's when practicing at home, when during training on the club, and when during matches, right? So these are the three key moments when they actually sport. So at home, they use their phone, and we use the computer vision models to extract data. During training and matches, we use these. And so capturing that data anywhere always allows the trainer to actually see, okay, how is my player progressing? What is he really good at? Not just my opinion as a coach, but what does the data say he's really good at? What does he need to change? What does he need to work on? Does he need to improve on something, or shall we focus on what is he already good at and improving that even more, right? So that's all up to the trainer, but we allow them to see by using that data exactly everything at any time, which also allows them to compare players to other players, to put players on other positions based on data, to compare the one 14-year-old kid with the other 14-year-old kid, but maybe with a biological age of 15, or all those different insights allow you to optimize the development of your players. And not all of the players will be a pro a player? Of course not. But we can still help them to get to their dream as close as possible. Right? Nobody dreams of playing in the fourth team for your local club. Everybody dreams big, right? And again, not all of them can make it, but we can still help them as much as possible. And to be able to do that, we need to give the players and the trainers as much valuable insight as possible.
And David, the youth football, it eternally evolves, and you have youth players who are tall, have a lot of length, who get faster every year. How will your R&D or your product keep in step with the changes or the evolution of youth football?
Because we're able to see well, all the players we have, right? It also allows us, okay, what is the benchmark per age group, per biological age, per position, per level they play in? You can imagine that the one 13-year-old kid is completely different than the other 13-year-old kid, because one could have a biological age of 10 and the other a biological age of 15. So you're years apart while you're actually the same age. The same is from a mental perspective, cognitive perspective, physical, everything, right? So that's why we want to capture as many data points from as many kids as possible to actually allow for those insights and to understand them and to use them to optimize their own development. So imagine having all this data of all these kids. We can use that, and we use our machine learning to actually provide feedback to that individual players. Okay, this is what you need to do to solve a generic problem, right? Example. Let's say, Vince, you and I both have an issue on the field with our acceleration, for example. And let's say that rope skipping is a good solution for that. Now, that's a very generic statement, right? Rope skipping might help us in acceleration. However, you need to for you to progress, you need to rope skip, let's say 4 days a week, 3 times a day for 2 minutes. I'm older, I may be less fit, so maybe I need to start with 2 days a week, a time a day for 1 minute. Rope skipping is still good for both, but on individual level it's different, right? So this is how we use data and sports science actually in the platform to understand all this data and make that better. So actually, I can give you a quick peek.
Sure.
This is what this team is doing. These guys are all responsible for the machine learning part and understanding how that all works, right? So how do we use sports science and into data science and in the machine learning team there, to provide that valuable feedback rather than just, okay, you've done this. Now the next step is how to improve.
And without going into details, which aspects of the app are you looking to improve, looking to incorporate, looking to add in a few years?
Good question. I think we'll do a deeper dive in the cognitive side. That's a very interesting part for us. So not just exercise, but combining exercise with cognitive games is very interesting. And the reason why is as follows: it goes much further than just being fit or strong. And I'm not sure if you've maybe seen the videos on our website as well, but in one of the videos we have, you see this, what I just explained, this boy dribbling with the ball and doing these questions. I think they're math questions, right? So this for a kid or a player is it's a nice game to play, right? It's challenging. You need to do questions. You need to react on those questions with high speed. What we measure out of that is actually much more than just how many dribbles did he do and how many questions did he got right. It's also the ability to measure on the level of questions and the reaction times on speed in comparison to easy or difficult questions. So based on how that reaction time actually works, we can actually make we can understand a little bit of what type of player somebody is, right? Is he a defender or an attacker based on how he reacts to different questions? So this is what we really want to get into more, more computer vision, more understanding of how they react, how fast they react, and how that connects with their cognitive abilities. Because I think this is, first of all, again, really valuable for the kids. It's fun to do, they exercise, but the ability to measure. If you take this away from football, imagine when we're all still back in school, right? We needed to learn math questions. I needed to learn French wording, for example, or whatever, right? I never really liked it. But what if we can combine exercising with doing math questions? Now, all of a sudden, this could become really interesting, right? So you combine gymnastics with math, gymnastics with learning how to talk English, or whatever it is, all becomes different, right? The kids are already used to their phones way more than we are in our youth, obviously, right? So this is what I really like about the platform and the capacity of our AI and cognitive side of things. We can do so much more in education and making it different and fun and more up to date rather than just opening books.
Okay, so using the app also as an educational tool for the youth, and maybe not just math, maybe some science, some
absolutely could be anything.
Football history, perhaps. Yeah,
could be anything. For us, the questions, the type of questions is the easy part, right? We could even make it specific for a sport. We could make it specific for a company or a club, or could be anything, right? We could ask questions on whatever boxing matches of Manny Pacquiao. I don't know, right? So there's so much things we can do. We can recognize it anyway, right? So I think that makes it really relevant and really cool for many different use cases as well. So that's the part of the company which I really like.
Very good, Brian.
Well, I was gonna ask David. You were mentioning about these possibilities, and I noticed on the iTunes store that you had revised. This is a new version of the. I think you launched a new version to fix some bugs and fixes from the last one. So I'm just curious, moving forward with where you showed your team earlier. Are there any more enhancements you have in mind that you're planning to integrate into the app?
Oh, we have, I think in total, Brian, we have about 30 developers working full time on this thing. So we're doing releases, I would say every week. Every week something new comes up, or improvements, or more games, more cognitive questions, better quality, better usability. So it's a constant thing for us, right? So there are some big features coming up. The ability to do the cognitive games against each other, right? So the three of us could do this actually now. Whilst I'm on the other side of the world, we can do the same game in one room together, right? So that's that part which we call Battleground is being released in about 4 to 6 weeks, which is, I think, a really cool thing. So yeah, there's just a huge amount of new stuff coming up, and like I said, a very, very big team working full time on bringing all this to the world.
Cool. Okay, how about this? I mean, we all know that phones are changing every time. Does it matter what kind of phone you use, or is there a minimum requirement?
Sure, there is a minimum requirement, but I think the latest requirement we have is like a iPhone 6 or iPhone 7. So we go back fairly some time. In the beginning, Vince, going back to your questions, which were the difficult parts, when we first got the AI to run, and it actually understand it was a ball rather than a bird or an apple, the phone got so hot that we needed to stop.
Wow.
Now, obviously, we've covered all that. So yeah, we can now actually run on really low spec phones as well. But in the beginning, we took way too much processing power of the phone to fix it. But yeah, like I said, it could pretty much every smartphone works.
Hey, Vince?
David, you're a parent yourself. Was there any input or feedback from the parents going into the creation of the app, and what has been the reaction so far?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of lot of people actually involved, because when I started dreaming of this thing, I spoke to many different people, right? So obviously to my own kids, to my wife, to friends, to other soccer moms and dads, to trainers, scouts, anybody I could find who would listen to me talking about this. So there is a lot of different user types who've actually helped us build this thing, right? So we've worked together with scouts from Man United, with trainers from Man City, obviously a lot of conversations with Ajax, which is down the road from us. A lot of pro clubs have been involved, but also the parents. My kids are our test group. They always give me very harsh feedback, so that's good. So yeah, there's the way we see it, we build it together in that sense, right? We as a company obviously build everything, but we use our clientele, our fans, our sponsors, everybody gives us feedback, which is great, and that comes from, like I said, the individual, but also from a lot of pro clubs.
Just to deviate a bit, David. So Ajax is what, how many minutes away from your office?
I would say probably 7 or 8 down the
That's
road.
their training. Is it their training facility or their home field or home playing venue?
Both are next to each other. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Have they approached you about your product, about the app?
I spoke to them when it was still a theory. It's maybe quite a nice story. When I started thinking about this, my son actually just started playing for Ajax, right? So he got scouted by Ajax and he went into their youth program. And he played there for, I don't know, a year. And I was thinking about this thing. And I got some sensors. By the time I was figured out what I wanted to build, so I got some sensors which were way too big and clunky, whatever. But I put them in his football shoes, the insoles, and it was really, a handmade solution almost. Got the data out of it. Got one of my guys to build a prototype around that data, and I went back to Ajax. I went back to the head of youth academy and said, I know more about my 11-year-old kid than you know about Hakim Ziyech. And I'm not sure if you know who Hakim is, but at that time, he was one of the best players of Ajax. We sold him 2 years ago to Chelsea. And that sparked which I thought was a really interesting conversation. But I got back, no, that's not true. And we know everything. And we are Ajax and we know everything. So I started asking them, so can you please tell me what is the top sprinting speed of my son? And so, because you train him 5 days a week, right? So tell me, what is his top sprint speed? How many ball touches does he have per hour? What's the leg distribution between left and right? And how many ball dribbles does he have when we play against, I don't know, Volendam or PSV, right? So, and I started asking all these questions, and obviously it said, well, yeah, we don't know. So, well, that's the thing. So I do know, and this is the future of football. This is where we need to get to. We need to understand what happens rather than having an opinion on the field, which you guys are really good at, by the way. We can't limit ourselves to just act on the things that we see. Like I said, we measure 1,000 times a second. It's impossible for a person to see that because he doesn't look at one kid, they look at 30 kids, right? So you need technology. So in the beginning, I actually got a big pushback from Ajax. We've moved on since then, so that's good. The conversations have changed, but yeah, it's actually that feedback which sparked again the fires. I really need to do this because there's so much we don't know yet.
You know what? I'm not a developer, David, but what I also see with your product is if you've seen American football and F1 racing, they talk to the driver in the cockpit. Now, what I see also is, for example, you have a football team, a soccer team, and then you have your manager or coach. You can, for example, you're watching from the stands. You can tell your manager or coach that this player has only this shots on goal, or this player is running only at this strength, because the players are using the chip, they're using the insole. So it's something it's one of the things I see. You can if the manager or coach is wearing a headset, you can tell the manager or coach, your star only has so far 2-3 shots on goal, and
Could be, huh?
your defense, your back line is in terms of foot speed is not at their average. So things like that. I mean,
Yeah,
information like that.
it's all around that football is very old fashioned, right? We're not used to data yet. It's coming, but in relation in comparison to Formula One or swimming, which it's very advanced, by the way, from a technology perspective. They've got goggles with data in them, so it's really cool stuff. Football is behind, years behind. They're starting to catch up now, and they have to be. It's the biggest sport in the world, right? So they need to catch up. There's a lot of money involved in football, so it's very relevant to, from that perspective alone, right? From a business perspective, to understand more. But there's to be able to reach them and even on the lower levels, give them feedback on how they're doing. Yeah, even if it's not around becoming the best, but just, hey, this is how you're doing. If you could do this, or we see that, or maybe we could win if you just from a technical perspective on amateur level, it would be fun as well, right? So everything, in my opinion, is helps with not just the performance side, but also from the fun side of things, right? And to be overly clear, Vince and Brian, I don't believe that technology can cover what people can do in that sense. I think you need both. I think you need the coach, the scouts, and data, and not one of the three. You need all of them. And the data needs to support whatever the scouts and the coach is seeing to make better informed decision. On, like you said, on tactics, on how maybe we need to play differently against another team because they apparently can hold us back or anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. David, Brian has a question from one of our viewers.
Cool. Yeah.
Actually, it was not from well. I just saw this on the reviews of the app.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Why do they need to give their phone numbers?
To basically connect themselves, right? So because we're on youth, we don't assume that they actually have email addresses. So with the ability to use their phone number, we can make it extra secure to do two-factor authentication in that sense.
So it's
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that. We are actually you can imagine that not just data security, but security as a whole is a very hot topic here.
Yes.
So we're dealing with potential very valuable data, but we're also talking about kids and their data, right? So we make a lot of we bring a lot of attention to security in that sense. We've got a lot of technology making sure that there is no real way to make abuse of the system. Not just from a data perspective, but also from what can you share, how can you reach each other, right? So there's no direct ways to the kids. There's no ability to misuse the sharing of videos, etc. That's all covered from a technology perspective as well. So using the phone is just one of the security measurements to make sure that this person actually holds that phone and makes the right connections. And in addition to that, it's an ability for a trainer to invite their players again on a personal level. Not anybody just can come in, right? So it's a hot topic because it's important. It's like you said, I'm a parent myself, right? I want my kids to be safe anywhere, also in any app, right? So it's a big thing for us.
All right. Okay, Vince, that's it. Thank you.
All right, David, we have a few minutes left, and we'd like to hear your final words for our viewers and about your app. We may have viewers who are parents of youth football players, so please.
Yeah, well, I think what I would like to conclude with is our goal to again reach as many kids as possible, to get them to move to get them to train and exercise, regardless if it's football or not. We are starting a project. We have started a project called JOGO World, which basically means that we are launching JOGO per country. And we build a national JOGO team. So we've done this in Spain. We started 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. JOGO Spain. And as a kid, you can basically just download the app, get into JOGO Spain, into your own age group, and you get trained by a national coach of Spain in your own language. And that national coach is going to give you assignments 2-3 times a week, and you can do the assignments, you get the feedback, you can be part of this bigger group, even if you're not in a club, right? So again, completely free. You get extra, if you're already part of a club, you get extra trainings. If you're not part of a club, you get the training from a specialist, which allows us to, again, get as many kids moving as possible. So this is also the basis of what we are trying to do with the partners in Philippines, right? So with the PLTD, we want to again take a step back from just football, but this way to reach as many kids as possible. So if any one of the viewers is interested in using it, supporting us, or have a way to grow, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk to anybody about this, and by all means, let's just use it and get our kids to move.
You mentioned being fit, being active, and kids moving. The app is also very good to combat child obesity, which
is becoming, especially obviously with COVID, a bigger thing, right? So I keep repeating the same thing, Vince, because it's important. We need to move. We need to get the people and the kids to move again, and especially child obesity, obviously in COVID times is increasing, unfortunately. This is why I think to get them to move, we don't need to get them just away from the television or their phones. We need to entice them to use what they already have, right? So if I need to tell my 10-year-old to stay away from his phone, I'm going to have a fight, right? Because he's going to try to use it anyway. But if I enable him to use it whilst I'm still getting him to exercise and play with his friends and to do, competition with maybe a 10-year-old in your country, that would be awesome, right? If we could do that. So I don't have to have that fight, but he's still moving.
and he gets the best of both worlds.
That's exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, David, thank you so much for your time. We know you're busy, and
Thank you very much for having me.
you're welcome. Brian?
Yes, thank you, David. It was a very informative talk with you. And we hope we didn't let you down with our questions.
No, it was cool. It was great. I always love talking about JOGO, Brian. So no worries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time, and speak soon.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that ends another episode of Sports for All. Next weekend, another episode to introduce and feature another angle of sports. So again, David, thank you very much, and stay safe. Brian, thank you as well, and you too, stay safe. Good night, everyone. So long.
Thank you all. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
You too.